Hi, Brad. Welcome to Furniture Success Podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us about yourself, Brad? Like your ventures, your inventions, please?
Sure. I started kind of dabbling in product inventing and development probably about 8 years ago, maybe nine
Mhm,
years ago.
mhm,
And my first product I brought to market was a product called ThumbShield, and it was essentially designed to help protect your thumb in this area here. If you have if you ever got that blister from raking leaves or kayaking, lifting weights, riding your bike, all that, anything that's repetitive use, it's
mhm.
just it's a silicone sleeve that slides on your thumb, stays put, doesn't come off, and protects you from any of that repetitive use injury, blisters and stuff on your thumb. So that was my first venture into
Mhm,
product development and invention, and then my second one is now Happy Hour Hero.
mhm. So, how about your education, like your family, your background? Like, because obviously you have multiple, ventures and you see different than us,
Yeah,
and
so
you look different. Yeah.
so my my I guess my background comes from entrepreneurship. My dad
Mhm.
actually started the very first and developed the very first computer based or PC based computer system for credit unions to use. Was bought by EDS and Ross Perot back in the early mid '80s, and
Wow.
kind of went from there. I kind of got into that business when got into the world of after college, and I went to school for mechanical engineering for 2.5 years, and then switched into marketing. So I've got a little bit of background in some engineering and some marketing.
Mhm,
So that definitely helped in all aspects of product development and trying to bring a product to market. I kind
mhm,
of following after my dad in doing something, hopefully that, somebody else hadn't done before.
mhm. And like you founded multiple ventures, including Happy Hour Hero and We Squad, and your father inspired you to become an entrepreneur, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think it was really cool to see how he took, something that was out there. He worked in the banking industry. And there was all these software programs that were run on mainframe computers back in the early '80s. And he said, why can't I do this on a smaller scale for, the small credit unions that were out there? And so he did. He took the programs that these guys used, for these big mainframes
mhm,
and rewrote it so that it could be run on the new personal computer. Back in the mid '80s, personal computers were just starting to hit homes and small businesses. So it was a wide open market that nobody had exploited yet. So I
mhm.
saw that firsthand, and then kind of gives you the bug. You see, problem solving, right? That's kind of what it boils down to. You see a problem, you can't find a solution for it, and then you
Mhm.
develop one.
Fuck. And how did Happy Hour Hero uh come to life? Like, I just wonder. Like, it was a unique idea. Like, and when see it, like, okay, like it makes sense, but this should be, like, available in the market, like,
Yeah.
you
So
you
it
understand
was
what I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had no intention of creating Happy Hour Hero in a state of which it exists today. What
Mhm,
happened was we put on a 3-season porch on the back of our house, and when we got our patio furniture, you can see behind me is our swivel rocker that we have. Actually, I brought it down so we could see. So I could show you today.
mhm,
But we had the swivel rocker and we had a sectional couch, and I was sitting there with my feet up on the ottoman, trying to relax and watch some TV, and I didn't have any place to put anything. I had the ottoman out in front of me. Um,
mhm,
the door opened up right next to the couch, so I couldn't. There was no place to put a table. Um, Obviously, with a swivel rocker, you can't really put a table next to them anyway because they move, back and forth, and it would knock into the table. And also, I don't know if anybody else has the problem, but I have 3 yellow labs, and even if I had a table, if I put stuff down on the table, my yellow labs were going to come either eat the food or knock over the drinks with their tail, or whatever the case may be. So I needed something where I could hold my drink, my food, my phone, my remote, whatever it is I needed, right
Mhm.
next to me and close by, so that I didn't spill my drink and I didn't get my food stolen by my dogs, all that kind of stuff. So what I did was I just built a little, basically a little box out of leftover Trex decking that we had from our project, and
Mhm.
it fit nicely right over. I made it the right size, so it fit nicely over the arm of our chair. If you can see in the chair in the background here, the chair has a rounded top. So a lot of wicker chairs, are square. This one was
Yeah.
round. So I went on Amazon, did what anybody would do, and was like, I need to find a cup holder or something that would fit. And so I got all these silicone looking things. This is one of the ones that I tried, and it's a flimsy silicone thing that kind of supposed to sit on the arm of your chair, but again,
Mhm.
it's not gonna hold anything steady. It's not gonna keep it from spilling. It's more designed for something else. And
Yeah.
so after I built this box, I was like, oh, I need a cup holder, so I screwed a cup holder on the top of it, and then I had a place for my drink, and I had a place for my snacks on the top. It was a nice flat surface. But then I was like, I have my phone, I have my remote, I need something to hold those. So I put some little pockets on the side. As you can see here, the pockets on the side of the Happy Hour Hero. I put some of
Mhm.
those on the side of this unit, and everything was great. I had place for everything. Everything was perfectly fine, and I had no intentions of taking it any further than that. I was happy. I built two of them for the two places I needed them to have them, and then
Mhm.
I had some friends come over and they were like, "These are really cool. I really like these. Can you make me some for my house?" And I said, "Well, I could, but I need to know exactly how, wide the arm of your chair is, because you want it to be nice and snug and keep everything, you need to be snug and fit so that it doesn't, jostle around and fall over and spill your drink." And I had a couple more friends came over that said the same thing. And I thought to myself, well, what if I could make this thing adjustable so that it adjusts to lock on basically to the width of whatever arm, you want to put it on.
Mhm.
And so that got the wheels spinning, and I sat down and used some of my engineering background and taught myself CAD, because back in, my engineering school days, they didn't really have advanced CAD systems or anything like that on the computer. So I taught myself how to do that, and then I bought a cheap 3D printer and started 3D printing some of these parts to go together. And before you knew it, I had a fairly decent working model of what you see behind me now, and
Mhm.
it kind of worked. And then I went out and I guess the rest is history. Find somebody that can help you make it, and you go down that road, and then I guess a year or two passes by, and all of a sudden you've got a product.
Mhm. Wow. And like, can you tell us a little bit about the installation? Like, I think it's very easy to, install it to the,
Yeah, yeah, I can.
outdoor furniture. Yeah. Can you show us like just,
Yeah, I'll show you
um,
right here.
yeah,
So I'm gonna take these things out of here just because I don't want them to fall out while I'm
sure.
doing the demo. So
Mhm.
if you look on the side here, I'll spin it around so you can see it.
Mhm.
You can kind of see there's a side piece here with some tabs on it, and all we
Mhm.
do is we snap those tabs out to the unlock position, and then this side piece freely moves back and forth. And then to put it on, all we need to do is lock those tabs into the locking position, and then
Mhm.
we're just going to squeeze this down. You're going to hear, hopefully, maybe I don't know if the microphone's good enough, but you're going to hear some ratcheting sound. And it's clicking into place. So I'm just going to squeeze that as tight as I can, and
Uh-huh.
now it's all locked in there, and it's not going anywhere.
Wow.
And that's as hard as it is to put it on.
Mhm. And like, so how did you bring it from concept to market? Like, because like, um, innovation is something, but in today's world, you need to, mm, you know, show it to the people, pro, um, to make it a product, you know, you need to invest in marketing. You need to invest in, all aspects of business. So, how did you bring it from a concept to market?
Well, that's a great question because it doesn't
Mhm.
happen easily. We'll put it that way. And I think most people that have ever tried to do this know it doesn't happen easily.
Mhm.
Fortunately, there are a lot of great resources out there for, people that are in the inventing world, the small people like me, that I guess they call it the solopreneurs, people that are trying to
Mhm.
do it on their own. Um, and I really got hooked up with the United Inventors Association, and they have a lot of great resources, and got, again, connected with somebody that could take my 3D print um, sketches or drawings that I had, um, my CAD drawings, and take those to a manufacturer and say, hey, we need to try to build this product so that we can, injection mold, mass produce it. And it took a while to a find the right, factory to do it, and then also to have them kind of tweak the product such that it could be mass produced. And we have the
Mhm.
components. Then one of the nice things about Happy Hour Hero is that it's a fully reversible product, in such that it can go on the right arm or the left arm. So there's
Mhm.
multiple pieces, and it's kind of modular. You can take it apart, flip it around, and you always want, at least I do. Some people don't, but at least I do. I always want these pockets where you can put
Mhm.
your phone and remote stuff. I always want it on the inside of
Yeah.
the chair, because you want it, to be handy. And so we can take this front piece off, we can take the side pieces out, we cup holder switches ends, and you can flip it around. Everything just snaps back together, and
Mhm.
you can then apply it to the left side of the furniture. So we had to make all those pieces with the factory in such a way that it would function, but also be easily, produced in the factory. So that took a little bit of time. But like I say, luckily I was hooked up with the right people, and they
Mhm.
were able to get it done.
Mhm. So definitely you get help from the association that you mentioned, and um, especially to get manufacturers support, right?
Yeah.
But what happened after that? Like, because like, okay, now you have a product, and then you need to market it. So
Yeah, and
how
that's and
did it
that's kind of
happen?
where we are. That's kind of where we are right now. I mean, I mean, we just got our product. Let's say,
Mhm.
I'm going to say 3 or 4 months ago. We just finally got our first, shipment of product. So we're really
Mhm.
in the infancy stage of getting this product out there. We've got a great sales team that's out there trying to, get it ready to be, put into potential retail, stores. I'm not going to name anything right now, but we've got some furniture manufacturers, actually some patio furniture manufacturers, that are
Mhm.
interested in potentially licensing it, or creating a OEM version of it for themselves. Um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things, but it's like it's such in its infancy right now. I don't know that we're doing a lot of things right. You never know. Like,
Mhm.
I've done this a couple times, but this is a completely new industry for me. My other product is in a completely different space,
Mhm.
and so I don't have the contacts, that from the other business, doesn't really help me a whole lot. So
Mhm.
it's a little trial and error. It definitely is, and it's
Mhm.
we're starting out slow too. That as these days, with the tariff situation and the supply chain, trying to get we're investigating potentially moving factories to a different country because of tariffs and things like that.
Mhm.
So we're starting out kind of slow. We're doing a lot of grassroots things, local festivals. We've been on a couple of websites, and podcasts like yourself, things like that, just trying to get the word out there that it exists. And then
Mhm.
also not wanting to sell through our initial inventory too quick, because I honestly don't want to be that guy that, gets the ball rolling and then can't deliver products. So we're,
Mhm.
we're trying to balance that out. We got the holidays coming up, so we definitely want to push that. But at the same time, I don't want to push it too much, because I don't want to not be able to deliver, somebody's Christmas gift. So I don't want to be, get a reputation for not being able to, to deliver a product too. So there's a fine
Yeah.
line of a little balance there that we have to play.
Mhm. Mhm. I think like you're doing really good. Like I saw your product on Fox, I guess. Like it was on your website as well.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
and so can you share any challenges like until so far, like um, early product designing to manufacturing? Like, what was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, so I think there's two things that make the Happy Hour Hero really unique.
Mhm.
One is the obviously the adjustability, and the ability to lock on tight to to an arm. It
Mhm.
almost becomes part of that piece of furniture, right? So getting the mechanism that actually does the locking to be able to lock, and then also when we switch arms, that
Mhm.
that removable side flips sides, so we have to be able to flip those tabs that do the locking. We have to be able to take
Mhm.
those. We basically, there's a cartridge in there. We take that out and we flip it around to the other side so that it works on both sides. And so that was a little bit of a challenge trying to engineer how that was all going to work. And then the cup
Mhm.
holder, very unique design. Not so much in that it has a mug handle. So if you have your mug here, you can put it
Mhm.
in here, and it has the mug handle slot, but this has a 360-degree rotating feature. So you can rotate it all the way around without it, popping off, and
Mhm.
allows you to get that mug handle just in the right spot. So creating the design to get that cup holder to snap in place, but then also be able to be removed rather easily, was one of our challenges, in moving it to the mass production.
Mhm. And like you're managing multiple businesses as far as I understand, like, and it can be demanding. And how do you balance your time and resources across your ventures? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say I do it well, but I'm not sure that I do. I'm I think I fall victim to what a lot of people fall victim to, and it's maybe the shiny object syndrome. It's the ThumbShield business, and that is kind of sitting out there, and I'm not really working super hard, on doing that right now because I'm so focused on Happy Hour Hero, and
mhm,
vice versa. I think it's hard to spread yourself super thin over too many things because you honestly don't get it done, and don't do a good job at it.
yeah,
So I feel like, yeah, maybe the one business suffers a little bit because this one is so new and we're just trying to get this off the ground right now, that the other one isn't getting as much love and attention as it probably should. So yeah, I think you just do the best you can, and
mhm,
you get out there, and hopefully this starts to take off a little bit, and then maybe I can revert some more time back to the other project, and get that take that another step from where it is now, and then maybe kind of go back and forth, and then of course you get to the point, you hope to get to the point that it's successful enough that you can hire a team and hire some people to come in with you, and that way everything can maybe grow at the same time. But as you're a solopreneur, single person trying to do this yourself, you definitely can only do so much.
mhm. I see. And what systems or tools have you implemented to streamline operations and ensure efficiency? Like, do you
Well, I think,
use any tools or? Yep.
yeah, I mean, I think obviously you'd go through the websites, right, and
Mhm,
how the e-commerce platform that you use is important. I
mhm,
started out with one e-commerce platform that was a custom type website and everything, but
mhm,
it ended up being, as soon as we launched, it ended up being that the checkout process was super clunky and didn't work very well. And then so we
mhm,
just had to we just shipped it over to Shopify. I mean, as much as
mhm,
you want to be able to customize things, Shopify, it just works, right? It just, like, it helps. And then you get a CRM on the back end that helps you manage, your customer information, and contact email, emailing, and that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot of tools out there. AI obviously is great. We're not heavily invested in AI yet because, again, we are so small and we don't have a lot of resources to pump into that. But I think,
mhm,
there are some rather um, inexpensive, quote unquote free, almost free AI tools that you can use that integrate with a lot of the stuff that we're doing. So that, I think any of that kind of stuff you can do to kind of help save yourself some time and effort, I think is well worth the time learning how to do it to save that time at the end.
mhm. Why did you pick Shopify platform? Like,
Honestly, it was, I needed to, because we had launched our website and everything was live, and it was something I'd used it for ThumbShield, like I say, it works. Everything's it just
mhm,
works. And so I needed to switch literally over the weekend. I needed to switch from the the company that we had launched with, I needed to switch to something so that I didn't lose sales, because like you had mentioned, the Fox News segment that we were on
Mhm.
had just gone live, and I needed people to be able to order if they wanted to order, and it wasn't working. And so literally I had to be like, I need to copy this site somewhere. And Shopify was A, what I knew, B, I knew it
Mhm.
worked. And
Mhm.
so, and it was easy, relatively easy for me to do by myself. So I knew I could get it done, in that week or
Yep.
that weekend.
Yeah. And you can easily test your product. You can see the, you know, demand in the market, easily, and people can pay. And Shopify has standard checkout page, and most of the people they used to, they um they're used to using Shopify,
Yeah,
and it's like another app as Amazon.
that
Yeah.
shop
Yes.
app that they've, instituted over the last few years or whatever, that shop app is
Yeah.
great because it stores all your
Hmm.
payment information. So it makes
Correct.
the user, the customer experience at
Hmm.
the other end super, super seamless. So
Hmm.
that was one of the other things that
Yep.
I'd used as a consumer that I really liked that Shopify had.
Yeah. And as someone with a background in innovative products, like what advice would you give to inspiring entrepreneurs looking to bring their ideas to life?
I think the first thing is, with any new product is you have to see what's out there that's in that space, right? So like
Hmm.
I did a lot of digging on both my products to see if there was really anything similar that was out there. With Happy Hour Hero, there was nothing that adjusted locked. It was all something that rests on top or sits on top, or the closest thing, was a table type thing that kind of flopped on there, and it sort of attached with these spring loaded wings or whatever, but it was super flimsy. I went out and I bought everything I could that I thought was a competitor, if you will, or anything that was looked like it might work for what I
Hmm.
wanted it to work for, and I couldn't find anything. And I challenged my friends and family, of course, people I was talking to try to find something that was like it, and nobody could find anything like it. So I think that's the first thing, is just to make sure that your idea is unique enough. It could be just a little bit unique, and is that worth going through this whole process for? I'm not sure it is.
Hmm.
But I think you need to make sure that your idea is something that people need, people want, people would like, and there's nothing out there like it. I think that's the first step, and then you got to be ready for a long, hard road. It really is. People say it all the time, and trying to bring a product to market by yourself is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And to make it successful is something that very few people do. And I'm still trying to get there. But it's it's a low percentage game as far as making yourself a whatever, let's say a millionaire. I don't know, whatever you want to say, but to make yourself successful with a product that you've launched yourself, is a very low numbers game. So
Hmm.
you got to be willing to, I guess, be willing to fail. Number one, but also be willing to do the things necessary to try to make yourself not fail.
Yep. Wow. And looking ahead, what are your goals for the future of your businesses or business part, specifically Happy Hour Hero?
Yeah, I mean,
And
Happy Hour Hero.
how do you plan to achieve them? Like,
Yeah, so that's a great question, and
mhm,
yeah, I think the what I look for with Happy Hour Hero is, to continue to just start to build, really starting to continue to build the brand and the awareness that it's out there.
mhm,
One of the challenges I have is what when you take a picture of it sitting on the the arm of a chair, you don't get the sense of what it does. You don't get a sense of what the product really is. It's like you look at it and you go, oh, it's another thing that sits on your arm that holds a drink, and you don't
mhm,
really get the feel. So we have to do a lot of, demonstration and videos and things like that we're in the process of trying to build a library of those things so that we can really get it out there and really show what the product does, so people really understand what it is, instead of just looking at a picture going, oh, it's just holding my drink. Okay, that's fine. So I think
mhm,
the next evolution or the next step is to really be able to showcase what it does and allow and let people and teach people why it's different and why it's so much better than everything else that's out there.
Mhm. And like, how do you use social media, for brand awareness?
I don't want to say late to the game, but we didn't really want to get Happy Hour Hero out there too much in advance. And I know the world is used to product coming soon and all this kind of stuff, but we really felt like we didn't want to start advertising and getting people interested when we didn't have product to be able to get into their hands. And so we're just
Mhm.
starting our social media, our social media life really. And we're just, we're like anybody else. I'm not a social media guy. I don't know. We need to do reels. We need to do stories. We need to do this. We need to do that. That's where, you need to find a partner to do that for you, unless that is your world. And if that's your world, um, maybe I don't know how you came up with a product because it's like me. I mean, I'm an engineer kind of guy. I'm a figure out the product guy. I'm not a sell it on social media guy. So they we just recently and literally in the last couple weeks hired a new social media company to help us build the brand online. And I think that's important from the standpoint of as we work with our sales team going down the road,
Mhm.
they are going to be looking at if any retailers are going to be interested. They're going to look back and see how you doing on social media. Like that stuff is important these days to be able to convince people that the product, people like the product, people will buy the product, and all those kind of metrics are very important using social media. And so I think it's a new world from when I got my marketing degree. Back when I got my
Mhm.
marketing degree, there was no internet, there was no social media, and all that kind of stuff. So all the things I learned in marketing school to get my degree, some of the concepts are still there, but the way they go about it is completely different. So
Mhm.
it's a whole new world.
How about getting an investor into your team? Like, have you ever thought
It's
about that? Like, uh,
Yeah, for investing investors,
mhm.
we're trying. I do have a business partner,
Mhm.
so that's super helpful, and we're trying to at least initially try to keep it in. We're trying to keep it in house right now.
Mhm.
We've had some interest from some people in investing, um,
Mhm.
and we might go down that road depending on again what happens. I mean, obviously, if you go out and really want to blow out the doors with a huge marketing budget, yeah, we're going to need more funds. If
Mhm.
we I think if we always look and go, oh, what if we get a big order from a major retailer, or even not even a major retailer, but just a decent size order from any kind of regional retailer, anything. How are we going to pay for that inventory and things like that? Yeah, I think there are some good solutions there. So we're like I say, we're trying not to use more than just kind of our friends and family, if you will, right now, but
Mhm.
definitely are open to going down that road if we feel like we really need to grow. And I think that's the goal and everything, right? Is to grow and sell more product and get more people to know about the product and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, we haven't luckily had to go down the going trying to find any additional outside investment at this point,
Mhm.
but not to say we won't in the future.
Mhm. Yeah, w- I I feel like when I see your product, like it's like a Shark Tank, thing for me because like I am a fan of Shark Tank. I watch almost every episodes, and like that could help you like something like that because it's going to increase your brand awareness. Plus, you can get someone experienced in marketing and willing to invest in your business,
Yeah,
financially as well. So that was the idea, but this could be a little bit early for Shark Tank, right?
yeah. I
For
think
you
I think we're a
at this
little
time.
early in the process
Mhm.
for that. We were at the IHA show last year in Chicago, the big home show in Chicago. We were in the inventors, spotlight area,
Mhm.
and according to what I heard, and again, I'm not going to reveal sources or whatever, but there were Shark Tank scouts there, and
Well,
there were from what I talked to someone who talked to someone. No, I talked to somebody who knew who they were and it was kind of in charge of the show, if you will, and they said that. their scouts, we were one of the two products that they saw that they were kind of interested in. So I'm not going to
Mhm.
say never. And I do, like you say, I do think we're a little early in the
Mhm.
process to go down that road, but yeah, it could be an option down the road if we feel like it. Obviously the marketing, just the number of eyeballs and everything that you get when you are on that show are tremendous. And then obviously if you can get hooked up with a shark and with all their connections and then their ability to
Mhm.
really get the product out there, I think it's almost a no brainer, really.
Mhm. Yeah. And how was the reaction like when you demo it, like in industry events,
Yeah,
like that?
everybody
Like,
everybody thinks it's super cool, and the more people
Mhm.
that use it, the more customer feedback we get on
Mhm.
you know on whether it's an email or whatever. You know, it's it's resoundingly. I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy this product until I actually used it, and then it's
Mhm.
almost like I don't know how I lived without it because it make relaxing, and that's kind of our thing is that we all know that we don't have a lot of time to just sit back and relax these days, right? Everybody's super busy, all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. So when you do get a chance to sit down and relax, you don't want to be bending over trying to get your drink off the floor or off the table or whatever. Like you don't want to be constantly doing this. To have everything right at your fingertips, right there, secure, knowing that it's not going to just tip over and spill. Just that peace of mind really allows you to relax and really enjoy that time instead of constantly fumbling over things and moving around and just not being comfortable and being able to relax. So that's our big goal is to kind of enhance everybody's relaxation time to make it just that, make it
Mhm.
relaxing.
I see. And you mentioned about like partnering with maybe like bigger furniture brands, in the industry. So, what could be the ideal partnership for you? Like, you would like to exit your, company, Happy Hour Hero,
Well,
or like,
yeah,
would you
I think
like
an
to
exit.
use their marketing and manufacturing power, or
Yeah, I mean, I
what
think
do you
there's a
have in
lot
your
of
mind?
possibilities there.
Mhm.
One of the things that has been kind of floated out there is them pretty major, pretty good size furniture manufacturer, patio furniture manufacturer would
Mhm.
basically build, manufacture, and include this, not necessarily even sell it, but just include it with, some of their furniture. So it would be just an
Mhm.
add-on piece that would go in with their furniture. So we really wouldn't even be looking at having to sell it then. It would just be them manufacturing the pieces and then they would do that. I don't know about exiting yet because
Mhm.
I feel like as any probably inventor or entrepreneur feels that it's not worth what it's going to be worth once we
Mhm.
are able to build it up a little bit first. So, um, I guess again, every inventor thinks that their product is great and is super needed by everybody. But
Mhm.
I do think that there's a lot of room for growth, and then exiting, maybe selling it, like you say, maybe selling it to a furniture manufacturer that would turn around and sell it as a accessory to anybody's furniture line. It doesn't have to be their own furniture line, right? It's like, it's
Mhm.
kind of the beauty of it is it can go on Adirondack chairs, it can go on wicker chairs, it can go on couches inside, it can goes on recliners inside, it can go on bathtubs, it can go on porch swings, it can go on in RVs, it can go on boats. Like there's so many different applications for it that
Mhm.
just having a patio furniture manufacturer doing it kind of cuts out a lot of, what it could be used for.
Mhm. I think you just need your product in their showrooms, and then it's going to be okay. Like, people see it, and they will see it for the first time, and they will think, "What is this?" Like, how I can use it, and and it's like $30, $50, whatever, like in mass
Yeah.
production, and then they'll be willing to paying for it. I think that's that's going to fix your marketing problem easily, because like if you do it alone, like with your in-house team, it's going to cost you a lot of money, because like competition is out there, um, and marketing on social media, Google, like it's expensive, like day by day, it's getting expensive. But you need to give an opportunity, you know, to people, like, they have to touch it, they have to see the functionality, and then, uh, they'll be, getting it. That's what I believe. Yeah. So like, uh, obviously you are an inventor, like Brad. Like, and do you have any other inventions in your mind? Like anything
Oh,
is coming?
it's one of those things where I've always got ideas that are flowing
Mhm,
through my head, um, but it takes I don't mean this in a way to like toot my own horn, but I always feel like
mhm,
I can find a reason that I shouldn't do a project because it's like, oh, it's not different enough, or it's already something close to it already exists, or I just can't see this being whatever. So I feel like it's almost like a lightning strike when something like the two products I
mhm,
have brought to market. Um, I feel like it's a lightning strike. Like, oh my gosh, this is really a good idea. It doesn't exist. It's a great idea. I feel like it's worth putting the time and effort. And once you've gone through this process a couple times, you know what it takes to get from point A to point B, and it really needs to be a great idea to be worth going through that
mhm,
effort and process to get there. So I almost feel like the more I do this, the fewer things I'm going to get through my process of critiquing it and all that kind of stuff. So it's like
mhm,
some people say, oh, you know, the more I do, the more I want to, the more I want to get out there. And I think that's true. But at the same time, I feel like the more I do this, the better my process gets, and probably the fewer things I'll end up inventing because of that.
mhm. And like, how do you overcome like, um critics, from others? I mean, like, let's say, like, for Uber, it was like, hey, like, I can not let my girl, you know, having a ride with someone, I don't know. And like for Airbnb, it was like, hey, like, am I going to host, stranger in my home? Like, it wasn't an unusual, idea at the beginning, and then, people accept it. And for your product, and it's not like that, but still some people making like, I don't need it, like I can look for my remote, or like I'm gonna put it on the, coffee table. It's not an issue for me. So, and
Yeah.
it is like your child, your product, you know
Yes.
and how do you overcome that?
So I think you just need to really step back for a second and say, you know what? There's always those people that are going to don't want to spend like say $50 or whatever it is to
Mhm,
to buy your product. They'd rather put their drink on the floor or rest it in their lap and hope they don't spill it or whatever. But for every one of those, there's two or three people that have the dogs, that have the small kids that are climbing in their laps all the time and doing things where they just want to have it often and safe and not have to worry about spilling it. So I think you just have to not listen to all the critics. Um,
mhm,
you have to kind of be able to weed out that noise and say, yeah, you know what, my product isn't for everybody, and I'm okay with that. But there are enough
mhm,
people out there. There are enough people out there that my product will be for, and they will like it when they do it, when they use it. That I'm okay with that. And
yep,
I like criticism. I like skeptics. I like people to, give me feedback on the product, even if it's negative or constructive. That just makes it better. And yeah, we're in version 1 right now. And is there going to be a version 2 and a version 3 down the road? Sure, there will be. There's going to be
mhm,
evolution. And I always say the iPhone didn't start at iPhone 17, right? It started at iPhone
mhm,
1. So there's definitely room for improvement. We know that. But as it stands right now, it's I believe better than anything else on the market, and it does things that nothing else does on the market. And therefore, I think there's going to be plenty of people that aren't going to be a critic of it.
mhm,
So,
yep. And even if you are targeting like 1% of US population, it makes like over 3 million, you
Yeah,
know?
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll take
it's
it.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so personal question, like, what are your hobbies? Like, your favorite movie, your favorite book? Because, like, obviously you think out of box, and how do you support it? To
Yeah.
keep
So
yourself
I
innovative. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm all over the place from hobbies and things like that. In my young adult life, I played a ton of volleyball. I was a pretty competitive, volleyball player, both indoors, beach volleyball, all that stuff. And
Mhm,
then I moved into coaching some volleyball, and then from there, I kind of got into CrossFit, and I became a CrossFit instructor on the side. And then I have kind of morphed into playing pickleball lately, some tennis and pickleball and that kind of stuff. And so it's like I just like to be active. I like to do things that challenge me, and in the kind of exercise and athletic realm.
mhm,
And then as far as movies and books, um, I like learning about health, like health related things. So and it's not always for me. It's not always reading a book. I don't love reading, but I
mhm,
do like listening to podcasts and those types of things. So I've got a few of my favorite, podcast people that are in the health, kind of health realm of things, and then movies. My all time favorite movie, well, probably two favorite movies, but Top Gun is right up
mhm.
there. That was right in my wheelhouse. I love Top Gun, and Maverick now is great as well. And then probably Shawshank Redemption, my other movie. I just can't if
Wow.
I'm flipping through
Yeah.
channels. If I'm flipping through
Mhm,
channels and Shawshank Redemption's on, I can't. I have to stop and watch from there to the end. Like I can't turn it off.
mhm,
So
mhm.
those are my go tos.
Yeah, and it was like a movie thinking out of box, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're in a prison, and you need to find a way always, like,
Yeah,
to
and just to
get
just
rid
to see
of
how
the
that
problems.
see how everything unraveled and how he did it, and like you can just
Yeah.
you try to go through that all in your mind and try to play it out, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not how it happened. This is how it happened, or whatever.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like running a business.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right. So how can we purchase your product?
So we can go to the website
Mhm,
hhhero.com, um, and that's the best way to purchase it. We're also listed on thegrommet.com.
mhm,
They're the two places you can buy them. We're working with Amazon right now. We had some issues getting the listing up. I had to do the brand registry and go through that whole process and everything. So we're getting close with Amazon. So hopefully by the fall, by the time the holiday rush comes
mhm,
around, we'll have some product in Amazon's hands, so they can find us there. But if you can't find us there, again, hhhero.com
mhm,
is the place to get it.
mhm. And you offer installments as well on your website.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
can do. I mean,
With ShopPay.
Shop Pay, the whole
Yeah.
thing. We're trying to get through that process.
Yeah.
We always have some sort of a little sale going. Obviously with the holidays coming up and the different
Mhm.
seasons and things like that. Football season right now is great because a lot of people like to sit on their
Yeah.
patios or their porches, or again, you can use it inside too. Just that the
Mhm,
inside furniture sometimes isn't as, the one thing we haven't mentioned is that, it adjusts from 2.5 inches to 5.5 inches wide. So if the arm of your furniture is much wider than 5 inches or five and a half
mhm,
inches, it's not gonna be able to lock onto it. So it's a limited range right now. Um,
mhm.
you know, are we gonna eventually have a larger version that'll fit bigger arms? Sure we are. But
Mhm.
again, just being started out,
Yeah.
not having unlimited budget, we've got to walk before we can run. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So if your arm of your furniture is between 2.5 and 5.5 inches wide, chances are pretty good that this will work pretty well.
Mhm. And you have 3 color options, right?
Yep. Right now we've got
Mhm,
a basic brown,
mhm,
a weathered teak, which is kind of a light grayish brown, and then we have what we call light gray, which is almost a white, which I think is what you see
mhm,
behind me. It's a little dark in here, but it's basically like a real creamy light gray.
mhm. Mhm. And can you share your contact information with us? Like, if especially for investors or um who who is um like interested in partnership and maybe like
Absolutely.
learning about your process, or
Yeah.
innovations there.
Sure, absolutely. Anybody, again, we're open to all and any ideas on potential partnerships. Furniture. I know you with your podcast probably reaches a bunch of people in the furniture industry, whether it's manufacturers or reps or anything like that. You can
Mhm,
reach me directly at Brad at hhhero.com. That's my direct email address.
mhm.
So just shoot me over, any sort of message, and I'll definitely get back to you. And like I say, we're open to investment opportunities. Pretty much anything. We're obviously we're a small company. We're very flexible, very mobile, very willing to do what would help build the brand.
Wow. Yep. Thank you, Brad, for participating in Furniture Success Podcast. It
Yes, well,
was
thank
fun
you.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I really do appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye bye.